นะคะจากตรงนี้นะคะในการเข้าใช้งานฐานข้อมูลนะคะนิสิตจะต้องมีการแสดงตัวตนก่อนเนื่องจากว่าทรัพยากรอิเล็กทรอนิกส์หรือฐานข้อมูลเนี่ยทางสำนักหอสมุดบอกรับจัดซื้อนะคะหรือว่ามีสิทธิ์เข้าใช้โดยภาคีเครือข่ายเพราะฉะนั้นบุคคลภายนอกก็จะไม่สามารถมีสิทธิ์เข้าใช้บุคลากรนิสิตของเราเนี่ยจะเข้าใช้ได้ก็คือเราต้องแสดงตัวตนนะคะบอกว่าเราเป็นใครนะคะวิธีการง่ายๆก็คือคลิกที่ CL Open A10 ที่หน้าเว็บไซต์ห้องสมุดตรงนี้นะคะเราจะสามารถใช้ทรัพยากรอิเล็กทรอนิกส์ผ่านเว็บไซต์ห้องสมุดเราได้เลยนะคะ8 ชั่วโมงลองคลิกดูนะคะในการแสดงตัวตนเราจะใช้รหัสบัวสีนะคะใส่รหัสบัวสีเข้าไปแล้วก็คลิกล็อกอินไม่ว่าจะอยู่ในเครือข่ายหรือนอกเครือข่ายก็ต้องทำแบบนี้นะคะเมื่อเราใส่บัวสีเรียบร้อยแล้วนะคะจะวิ่งมาที่หน้า My A10 ให้ทุกท่านคลิกมาที่ SWU Database นะคะเพื่อกลับไปสู่หน้าฐานข้อมูลนะคะส่วนหน้านี้เราจะคลิกปิดไปเลยก็ได้ใช้งานได้8 ชั่วโมงมันจะกลับมาที่หน้าฐานข้อมูลนะคะจากนี้เราก็สามารถใช้งานฐานต่างๆที่อยู่ในเมนู Database หรือว่าจะไปสืบค้นผ่านกล่อง SWU Discovery ได้ตอนนี้เรามาที่หน้าเมนู Database แล้วที่หน้าเมนู Database หน้าแรกเนี่ยนะคะจะเป็นการแนะนำฐานจำแนกตามคณะนะคะก็จะมีฐานต่างๆที่แต่ละคณะสามารถนำไปใช้ประโยชน์ได้นะคะในส่วนของคณะศิลปกรรมนะคะเนี่ยแบบนึงในส่วนของคณะศิลปกรรมเนี่ยนะคะก็จะมีฐานต่างๆนะคะแถวแรกก็จะเป็นฐานข้อมูลวารสารอิเล็กทรอนิกส์นะคะอันที่2นี่ก็จะเป็นฐานทางด้านหนังสือหรือปริญญานิพนธ์ถ้านิสิตต้องการจะศึกษาค้นคว้าปริญญานิพนธ์ต่างประเทศนะคะก็ดูที่ฐานโปรเฟสนี้ได้ส่วนอันดับที่3อันนี้แถวที่3นี่จะเป็นฐานพวกรวมทรัพยากรนะคะอาจจะเป็นรูปภาพนะคะถ้าเป็นทางด้านการแพทย์อาจจะมีสื่อสูตรยา case study ซึ่งในส่วนนี้ก็จะรวม WGSN ตรงนี้ไปด้วยเนื่องจากว่า WGSN จะเป็นฐานเกี่ยวกับข่าวสารรูปภาพนะคะจะไม่ใช่ฐานวารสารหรือหนังสือนะคะทีนี้จากตรงนี้ฐานมากมายนิสิตอาจจะไม่ทราบว่าแต่ละฐานเนี่ยนะคะมันคือฐานอะไรทำหน้าที่อะไรมีเงื่อนไขการใช้ยังไงนิสิตสามารถมาคลิกดูในส่วนของฐานข้อมูลทั้งหมดได้นะคะในหน้าของฐานข้อมูลทั้งหมดเนี่ยเราจะมีรายการฐานข้อมูลทั้งหมดในปีนี้ที่ห้องสมุดจัดให้บริการซึ่งตอนนี้มี33ฐานนะคะเรียงตามลำดับอักษรนะคะนิสิตสามารถมาดูในส่วนของ WGSN ที่ตัวด้านหลังสีแดงตรงนี้จะมีรายละเอียดแจ้งไว้นะคะฐาน WGSN เนี่ยจะเป็นฐานทางด้านแฟชั่นการออกแบบเครื่องประดับออกแบบเครื่องแต่งกายมีข่าวสารมีในส่วนของภาพนะคะเทรนด์แฟชั่นต่างๆนะคะรวมถึงจะมีคำแนะนำซึ่งเดี๋ยววันนี้เนี่ยนะคะที่เราอบรมในวันนี้นะคะคลิปย้อนหลังเราก็จะเอามาแปะเพื่อให้บริการตรงนี้นิสิตก็สามารถมาดูย้อนหลังตรงนี้ได้นะคะตรงนี้ก็จะเป็นเมนู Database นะคะสามารถมาดูแต่ละรายละเอียดของแต่ละฐานได้เพราะว่าในส่วนของคณะศิลปกรรมเนี่ยอาจจะสนใจใช้ฐานข้อมูลในกลุ่มสาขาอื่นๆนะคะอีกส่วนหนึ่งถ้านิสิตจะใช้งานผ่านลิงก์ของฐานข้อมูลโดยตรง WGSN.com นะคะกรณีนี้นิสิตไม่ใช้ผ่านหน้าเว็บนะคะหน้าเว็บห้องสมุดนิสิตก็ต้องมาทำการล็อกอินเริ่มแรกที่เราจะล็อกอินได้เนี่ยเราก็ต้องสมัครก่อนนะคะสมัครสร้าง Account โดยสร้างให้อยู่ตอนที่เราเชื่อมต่อ Open A10 แล้วเหมือนอยู่ในเครือข่ายแล้วค่ะเราค่อยสร้างหลังจากนั้นเราก็สามารถมี Account แล้วก็ไปใช้นอกเครือข่ายได้นะคะนี่ก็เป็นอีกหนึ่งวิธีกรณีที่ต้องการใช้ที่ฐานโดยตรงนะคะนิสิตก็ต้องล็อกอินแต่ต้องสมัครก่อนในเครือข่ายนะคะหรือว่าจะใช้งานผ่านเว็บไซต์ของห้องสมุดก็ได้นะคะแล้วก็ทำการเชื่อมต่อแบบที่แจ้งไปนะคะตอนนี้เดี๋ยวขอ stop แชร์ก่อนนะคะตอนนี้ก็ได้เวลาแล้วนะคะเดี๋ยวพี่จะขออนุญาตนะคะส่งต่อให้กับวิทยากรนะคะคือคุณฟิลิปเชียวนะคะซึ่งเป็นผู้ดูแลผู้ใช้นะคะที่อยู่ในภูมิภาคเอเชียแปซิฟิกนะคะจากบริษัท WGSN นะคะเพื่อแนะนำการใช้งานนะคะ so Philip would you please start training
Hi
okay
Hi let me
Thank
see
you.
my camera Hi Hi so I'm in office today so hopefully the network will be a little bit better
okay
let me share my screen really quick Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm just gonna say hi, and then I'm gonna turn off my camera to make sure like it goes smooth as possible. All right, me if you have any questions in between or you want me to talk a little bit more. Okay, so the information I got today, we're gonna have a lot of students for majoring in costume and jewelry design. So I'm gonna do a little bit more like WGSN training based on the jewelry design and costume design. All right, so this is the platform you will see when you sign in, when you log in your WGSN account. So there are a few sections at the very top. So the interface is very simple. It's very self-explanatory. You can find we have the key reports right here. And in the middle, we have this fashion feed. I will explain this part a little bit more later on. So this is more like a social media sort of update. As you can see, we have a lot of hashtag right here. So we created all those different hashtags to help our users to keep themselves up to date about what is happening around the world in fashion. And then we also have the latest reports down below. So this is the interface, very simple. And then I'm gonna go to the very top to explain these sections one by one. So the first one is future strategies. So under future strategies, we have 3 different sections. So content calendar, micro forecast, and product forecast. So we can first of all have a quick look of the content calendar. So the content calendar is sort of like a timetable to show you what kind of reports we will publish in this year. Bear with me, the internet is a little bit slow, so we are loading this timetable right here. All right, here we go. So as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, so for example, 2021, so what kind of reports we will publish in each month, like January, Feb, March, April, following month like September, October, November, so what kind of reports we will publish. So if you put your cursor at this dots, you will find the detailed information of those reports, okay? So this will give you a roughly idea of what kind of reports you can expect in this year. Same with men's, kids, and trade shows. All right. And then at the very bottom, we also have a little bit more explanation about all the reports we have. So if you're looking for a year and a half, like 18 months above trends, so we have the micro forecast, we have the forecast, we have the color reports. If we're looking for within a year, 12-month forecast, we have intelligence, we have design development, sustainability, buying. If you're looking for a little bit short term, 6 months or less, we have catwalks, trade shows, retail, street style, collection event, trend curve. So don't worry, I will explain all this content later on. All right, so let's move on. So the next section under content calendar is called micro forecast. So this part is where we mentioned earlier that a little bit further, like if we're looking for over a year, like a year and a half or 2 years forecast. So we have a lot of micro forecast right here. So once you click on that, it will lead you to a page like this. So you can put out more filters to specify the search result. Let's say I want to look at 2023, like 2-year out time. So put out one more filter, 2023. So you will find all the micro forecast report for 2023. You can find we have 5 reports in 2023 right now. So future innovation, big ideas, and 3 webinars, recorded webinars. So I strongly recommend for all the fashion related major students, you can read this report, the big idea. Because of time that I cannot go through the whole report, but you can see in this report, we highlight 5 need to know directions that will impact the fashion industry in 2023. So this is not just for designers, but also for buyers, merchandisers, marketing people who work in fashion industry that need to know. All right, so this is the micro forecast. And then we can move on to the next section, which is the product forecast. So for product forecast, same, you can put on one more filter. So let's say I want to look at the season. Let's say I want to look at the next year, for example, next spring, summer 2022. So 1 year out. So, and then you can even put on different category. Let's say I want to look at the jewelry. So if you put on a jewelry category, you can find we already sorted out the jewelry product forecast. So as you can see, we have 3 directions in each season. So for this season, we have 3 directions. They're called connected, resourceful, and euphoric. And we will then interpret these 3 directions into each category. So men's accessory, footwear, jewelry, and women's accessory, footwear, and jewelry. So you can find in each category, we have this 3 direction micro trend. So same, if you want to look at other categories, let's say I want to look at, apparel as well. So you can take one more apparel. So you can find also, for example, for the menswear, we also have connected, resourceful, euphoric. Womenswear, connected, resourceful, euphoric. So these 3 directions, so I'll interpret into those different categories. So we can have a quick look of one of them to, sort of have an idea of what is happening with these 3 directions. So for example, I'm going to use women's wear as example. So I open these 3 reports really quick to show you guys the structure. So for example, the first, it's still loading. So for women's wear, the first direction that we can have a quick look. Yes, connected, for example. So we're going to give you a little bit explanation of why we have this direction showing here, what kind of research we've done to make us have this product forecast. And then we will have a video to show you what are the related, resources that you can think about. And then we'll have a color palette about connected. And then we're going to have, some action points for product design. And then we will talk about, the key point one by one. So this is just one example. And then same with other 2 directions, resourceful, same, a little bit background story, a video, a color palette, and action points. So same with another direction called euphoric. So these are the 3 directions in each season. So what I suggest you guys should do is you can look at the whole 3 directions and then pick 1 or 2 or all 3 of them that you feel like suits your aesthetic the most. So you can utilize that. All right. So this is the product forecast. And then next we can move on to the next section, which is market. So this is very simple, super self-explanatory. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this part. For example, if we're going to look at women's, just click on women's. And then we'll ask you to choose a content type. Do you want to look at the women's reports? Or you want to look at the women's feed story? I will explain this part later on, don't worry, the hashtag. Or you want to look at the women's images. All right? So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. So for season, sort of similar with the market. Let's say I want to look at the spring summer 2022 season. Just click on the season. And then we will ask you to choose, do you want to look at the reports, the feed stories, or the images? So if you want to say, I'll look at the reports, you click on reports. And then it will lead you to, the interface earlier that you can put on the filters to sort out the specific reports. So it's very simple. So next, I want to focus a little bit more on the research and create part where we have a lot of content type. So we have the catwalk, color, design capsule, intelligence, key items, material, textile, prints, graphics, sustainability. So let's have a look first about the catwalk. So same, if you click on catwalk, you can choose 3 different content type, reports, feed stories, images. Let's say I want to look at the reports. And then you can put on filters. Let's say I want to look at the autumn winter 21-22 catwalk just finished a couple of months ago. So if I click on this, and you can find we have quite some types of reports showing up right here. So there are 3 types of catwalk report that I want to emphasize here. Okay, so during the catwalk season, so 4 cities, New York, London, Milan, Paris. So after each city finished, we will have a report called Catwalk Need to Know. So this is the Paris Fashion Week Catwalk Need to Know. So you can open this, we can have a quick look. So under this, this is Paris, this is Milan. We also have, men's, this is for men's. And earlier we have the London Need to Know, we have the New York Need to Know. So what are these Need to Know reports? So these are the ones we will highlight the top 5 trends, accessories, apparel in that specific city. So I have some data showing right here. So what are the emerging fashion designers at this season's Paris Fashion Week and the top 5 trends in this fashion week? You can find, we all linked with the fashion feed, the hashtag here. So for example, the functional future is one of the key trends in this season's Paris Fashion Week. You can click onto that. It will lead you to the fashion feed I mentioned earlier. The whole hashtag right here. But I will explain this part a little bit more later on, so don't worry. And the top 5 color, the top 5 prints graphic, the top 5 key apparel, the top 5 accessory. I think this is going to be very useful, especially for jewelry design students. Yeah, so this is actually getting really popular. I'm sure some of you guys already see this from Louis Vuitton. They're sort of like the modular design accessory. All right, cool. So this is the first type of catwalk reports I want to emphasize. And then we also have another report, as you can see, a lot of collection review. So a lot of collection review reports in different categories. This is for men's footwear accessory, eyewear. So collection review is like a summary of the whole season about the jewelry right here, a whole season, 4 cities all combined together. We also have another report called the analytics. So you can find a lot of catwalk analytics report, analytics. So what are the analytics reports? So these are a little bit more about data, stats. So you can find, for example, let me open this one. So this is the Catwalk Analytics report for this whole season. So inside this report, you will find we have some stats, some data showing right here. For example, comfort is one of the emerging trend in this season. And also work leisure is one of the emerging trend. So you can find some of the supporting data right here of what kind of brands are doing this, are tapping into this trend, and what are the leading examples. Yeah, so this is one of the, bear with me, internet is a little bit slow, so it takes a bit time to load out the stats. But I'm sure you guys already have the idea. So as you can see, we have a lot of stats or data covered in this analytics report. All right, cool. So let's move on. So the catwalk after, and then we can talk a little bit about color. So color is a big focus for WGSN, same reports, 3 stories, image, let's say reports. So you can find a lot of color reports right here. Color reports for, catwalk, color reports for different category, color reports in different region. We have, Latin color, Asian color, Europe color, North America color. And we also, if you want to know a little bit more color, we have a little bit even further. So we have 2026 color reports just published 2 months ago. So you can also have a look at this very advanced color reports. We also have a report called Color Intelligence. So color intelligence, we're going to talk about one specific type of color, how it got involved, and why it got so popular right now. So also I can have a look. These are all the color reports. And next is design capsule. So for design capsule reports, design capsule is always 1 year ahead. So you can also play with the future. Let's say I want to look at all the accessories design capsule reports. So for design capsule reports, we have one theme, like imagine you're going to a theme party. So I'm going to open this one as one example. So there's always a name of the design capsule. This one, the name is Gender Inclusive State of Mind. So this is the Punk Academia. This is the Punk Academia. This is a theme called Psychedelic Summer. So there's always a name, a topic of design capsule. So for this one, for example, so this is imagine you're going to a theme party and the theme is Psychedelic Summer. So we have a mood board right here. So what kind of color, some examples, and this examples one by one. So statement area, for example, what are the examples right here? And we have an original CAD image that you can directly, edit and get used to. So for all those images inside this WGSN report, for example, if you click onto one of them, you can actually download it or bookmark it. So it's very, simple and user-friendly. All right. So this is just one example. Of course, you can look at all the other examples. Okay. So this is a design capsule. And the next one is intelligence. So for intelligence, it's not, 100% related to product design, but it's more about, for a certain type of design, what are the opportunities? What are the risks? What are the leading examples? So we can have a look of, for example, this one, the occasion and party design priorities. So this is not a report talking about how you can execute the design, but this is a report talking about what are the drivers and opportunities and risks for this category. So as you can see, we talk about in-day occasion wear. So what are the drivers behind this item? So what are the opportunities and what are the risks? And also you can find, a lot of examples, how you can approach them and some of the brands to watch, the leading brands in this category. And these are all hyperlinked that you can click onto them to get to know their website, to know a little bit more about their products. So it also saves a lot of time for you to do your own marketing research or like competitor research. And also we combine the fashion feed also. So also you can see in this category, the comfy party, any occasion dress, 2-mile wear, house party. So these are the 4 hashtags related to this category. And you can also click into one of them to get into the whole hashtag to know a little bit more about, this specific hashtag. All right, so this is the intelligence report. We also have some data shown right here. So what are the casual keywords with dress, skirts, and tops changes in UK, US, and Germany? All right, so this is the intelligence report. And next is the key items. So for key items, we have 2 types of key items report. Same, let's choose the reports. So we have the core item and key item fashion. So mostly you can, and fast track, so 3 types. So core item, same core item, key item fashion, fast track. So let me explain this one to one. So also let's use for example, a jewelry category as examples. I will show a little bit more. So for autumn winter 2023 season, for example, so we have a core item and a key item fashion. So let's open these 2 reports. So first of all, we can have a look of the core item updates. So what are the core item updates? This is about the essential item that how you can give them an update. For example, the bracelet. So every single season you can find bracelet, but in this season, how you can give it an update? For example, you can add some contrast links, or you can use some watch straps, or you can use some recycled material. We're adding a little bit texture. So or the drop area, for example, how you can update them. So this is the structure of the core item updates report. So what about the key item fashion? Same season. So this is a little bit fashion forward. So you can find the design is a little bit quirky, a little bit, trendy, a little bit conceptual. So you can find, for example, the ear stack. So you can find some of the leading brands, and one example right here, sort of similar with the design capsule we mentioned earlier, the chunky chain, for example. So how you can, utilize this little bit fashion forward items. Yeah, so these are the examples of those two reports, core and key fashion, okay? And then we can also talk really quick about the fast track. So you can find some of the fast track report right here too. So what are the fast track? So fast track is really quick. So we identify that this trend or this item got really popular for the past 2 or 3 months. So we're going to give you a really quick update about what's going on with this item. So for example, the wide leg the trouser. So we found it got really popular right now. So we give you a really quick fast track report, some of the leading brands and one original WGSN CAD image that you can download and utilize with, So yeah. So this is the key items. And then the material textiles, this is very simple. So I'm going to skip this part. So you can find a lot of sourcing, trade shows report. I will mention this at the sourcing part, so don't worry. And prints graphic, same. So you can find we've already mentioned the fast track, a lot of sourcing guide and the product design, prints graphic. And the last part under research and create is sustainability that I want to talk a little bit more. So right here, we have, first of all, we have a sustainability and innovation reports. For example, this one, the second skin comfort and innerwear. We also have, for example, before we published, the cellulosics sustainability innovation reports, the packaging innovation reports, the denim eco washes and finishes innovation reports. So we also have the sustainability bulletin. As you can find, we have one bulletin report each month talking about what is happening around the world about sustainability. Yeah, so this is where you can find a lot of sustainability related resources. All right, so let's move on. The next session, category. So this is also very self-explanatory. Let's say if you want to click on accessory, click on that and choose reports, view story, images, and then put on one more feature to sort out. So I'm going to skip this part, very self-explanatory. So next, let's focus to talk about the buying and retail part. So first of all, we have the analytics. So in this report category that we have a lot of retail analysis reports. So what are they? So they're actually, especially right now, traveling is not possible. So we're going to show it, but we have WGSN as like a global, we have like editors and freelancers around the world. So we actually can go to those different retail stores to show you what is happening around the world. So let's say, let's open, for example, this one, the women's summer. So this year just passed the autumn-winter 2021 summer season. So what are the leading brands in retail that are doing well? So you can find we have some key cities highlight, London, Barcelona, Miami, New York, San Francisco, and Shanghai. And then we have some of the leading global products highlight. So for example, Uniqlo collaborated with Mary Meckle. They did like a capsule right here, or Mark Spencer collaborated with Ghost. So sort of like the brands examples right here. And Mango collaborated with Chuffy. So you can click on this hyperlink to get to know what is happening within this brand. All right. And then we also have a little bit product mix. So this is not product design, but more about, what are the other brands doing right now. So next, we also have brands. So in this report, I want to highlight a little bit more about brands to watch. So we're going to highlight some of the emerging brands. For example, we can have a look at this one. The women's wear in this spring summer season, what are the emerging brands in women's wear? For example, the gender inclusive brands. So some of the leading brands, we highlighted brands, for example, the Human Nations and Australian brands, the Mental. So you can find all those brands examples right here. Some of the accessories brands, for example, Vanna. So all those emerging, women's wear brands that you can, keep yourself up to date what is happening. And then buyer's briefing. I know probably we don't have buyer major students here today, but you can also have a quick look of some of the buyers debrief reports. For example, this one, season just passed, because we're going to highlight what are the best performing items and what are the worst performing items, and some of discounting strategies, so you can find all this information around the world. And next, I want to highlight a little bit about the sourcing, where we have a lot of, trade shows reports covering right here. Same if you click on reports, you can, choose different categories right here. So you can find a lot of sourcing guide, a lot of trade shows right here. Let's open one of them. For example, this one, the Trim and Details Sourcing Guide for Autumn Winter 22-23. So you can find in this report, we will find, we categorize into a few trends. For example, the bold optimism. So what are the brand examples? What are the manufacturers? For example, I found this button very interesting. You can click on this image, and then you will find the info right here, their website. You can actually click onto this website to get into where are these buttons from. Yeah. All right, so this is the sourcing part. And next, we can, talk to the fashion feed part I mentioned at the first beginning. So we update this part every single day. As you can see, some of the images updated like hours ago. So same, you can play with the features. Let's say I want to look at the latest jewelry hashtag. So you can click on jewelry, and you will find all those jewelry images. Just finished the Mosquito fashion show. You can find all the latest jewelry update. So as you can see, some of the images, we have more than one hashtag. So for example, this one, Mosquito one, we have keynotes, charms, beads, and the knot is a nostalgia. So if you want to know a little bit more about the keyed out trend, you can click on the keyed out, and then you will get into the keyed out hashtag right here, that you can find out more images about the keyed out trend. Okay, so this is like a really good resource that I strongly recommend you guys to check out this part on a daily basis. All right, and next is the image. So under image, we have a few categories right here. We have the, we have the catwalk images. We have the, whilst loading, we have the catwalk images. We have the retail images. We have the street look images. We have a lot of different categories of images right here. Okay, here we go. So as I mentioned, we have different types of images inside this library. So we already talked about the catwalk. Same if you click on catwalks. So you can find all the latest catwalk images right here. You can play with the filter. You can search for specific brands, specific categories. Let's say, I want to just look at the accessory part. You just click on accessory, and then you will find all those catwalk accessory images right here. All right, and then there is another type of image library that I want to highlight, which is the retail. So we already talked about the retail analysis, but if you want to look at the retail store images, you can also click on the retail, or you can look at the street style. So what are the major cities, what are people wearing as streets? You can find we have street looks in New York, Shanghai, around the world. So what are the customers like to wear? So this is the image library. And then last but not least, I also want to highlight really quick about the design resources. So this is, I think, very useful for example, how you can execute your design. So first of all, we have this 2D Cad library. where you can find a lot of WGSN original CAD's image right here. So a lot of, all this different, you can put on the future. Let's say I want to look at the women's, and then I want to look at, for example, I think especially for costume design students, you can choose different categories. Let's say I want to look at the jumpsuit. I want to look at, the dresses, and you can even choose specifically type of dresses. Click on apply, and then you will find all this original WGSN CAD's image right here that you can sort of utilize. And click into this image, you can find there is a toolbar here that you can, crop it and save, download, or you can, download it. You can, save into your own library, print it out. You can do, a lot of things with it. Yeah, and apart from the 2D CADs, we also updated it to some 3D libraries. So we just have this part, I think a month ago. And then we have a lot of 3D CADs images also updated right here. But I think this is only for like references right now. If you want to utilize this, so you have to have like a 3D software to actually utilize this. But you can definitely look at all these images as, a inspiration. And then we also have the original artwork. So the original artwork is where we have a lot of, WGSN original prints and graphics provided to our users. So same with, you can play with all the features right here. Let's say I want to look at some of the animal prints. Click on prints. You can find animal skin prints here. You can choose cow print, giraffe, cheetah, leopard, snake, reptile, and click on apply. And then you will find all those, original WGSN animal prints right here that you can save. You can, edit, crop, download it, do whatever you want with it. All right, and then we didn't mention earlier, there's another part called the color library. So this is where you want to know, for example, all the Pantone, Colorwell, or all those different color providers. So I actually have, all those color palette right here, color library right here that you can, utilize. Same with play with the features. All right, cool. So I think this is pretty much everything about the fashion platform. So let me do a little really quick roundup. So we mentioned pretty much everything at the very top, these different sections. So future strategies, content calendar is a timetable, micro forecast, we have the big ideas report, and product forecast, we have like 3 directions in each season. And then we talk about the research and create. Catwalk, we have the catwalk data, different cities need to know, collection review, color, we have the different region color, different intelligence color, design capsules like a theme party in different categories, and then intelligence, what are the risks, opportunities in different, categories. Key items, we have core item and key item fashion and fast track. Sustainability, we have sustainability bulletin and sustainability and innovation reports. Buying retail analysis, brands to watch, sourcing, and then we talk about the fashion feed, and then, catwalk images, street style images, retail images. And last but not least, we also talk about the 2D, 3D CAD library, color library, and also some of the original prints and graphics. All right, cool. So I think this is the whole platform. Do we have any questions so far? Or everything's okay?